In this lesson, we're going to be learning about function parameters. So in this lesson, and probably throughout the rest of the course, I'm going to refer to a parameter as an argument. These two words are synonymous. They mean the same thing. So that being said, what is an argument or a parameter? Well, an argument is a value that you can give to a function. The function can take that value that you passed into it, and it can do something behind the scenes to return a new value. So a function can receive parameters of all sorts of different types. It's not limited to a certain number of parameters, and we'll look later on at how we can make certain parameters optional. So let's think of a really simple example of a function that sums two numbers. So we have this function. This function can take in two values. It can take in num1 and num2. So number 1, 12, number 2, also 12. So this function takes in these two numbers, does a little work behind the scenes, and produces an output of 24, because 12 plus 12 is 24. So how would we implement something this simple in Python? Well, in the last lesson we learned that the general syntax of defining a function is to first use the def keyword. This tells Python we're creating a new function. Then we give it a name. In this case, we're calling our function sum. And then we do the open and closing parentheses. In this case, to specify the arguments, we have to put them in those parentheses. So the first parameter, num1, represents the first number that's going to be inputted into the function. The second parameter, num2, is the second number that's going to be inputted into the function. In the function body, which is after the colon at the end of the function declaration and is also indented, we just have our function body. In this case, we're just printing the sum of number 1 and number 2. Let's take a look at this in PyCharm. So I'm going to go ahead and create a new file. I'm going to call this new file. I named that wrong. So I'm going to create a function called mult. And what mult is going to do is it's going to multiply two numbers. I'm going to again take num1 and num2. I'm going to just add a colon because that tells Python our function is going to be right under this. So I'm going to define my function. In this case, I'm just going to simply print num1 times num2. So I'm just going to save that. And again, notice if I go ahead and hit run, you'll notice nothing outputs. That's because I haven't explicitly called my function. So if I call mult, and I'll call this on 1, and actually I'll do 2 and 7. So I'll save that, and I'll hit run. And now you notice I get the output 14 right here. So that's it for function parameters in this lesson.